So, ladies and gentlemen, as we have been covering a lot of stories over the years, as being one of the members of the black media, I've been studying patterns. I'm one that will analyze people. I will look into movements. I just love to study people and how they do things. And definitely for the sake of our lives as black people, we got to understand the system of white supremacy. And over the years, we have definitely started learning their tactics. Their tactics used to work, but now we have learned them. We're calling them out, and it's getting them shook a little bit because certain tactics they used to use worked. Now it's not working anymore because they actually got to come up with something new because they've been doing this for a long time. Now, recently, with the brother Jacob Blake, before they announced anything about the race soldier not facing charges in the shooting of Jacob Blake, they said something that let me know charges wasn't going to come. Prior to, they said, we're going to announce the charges about what's going to happen with the officer Jacob Blake. They said these key words. We've activated the National Guard. We have, more state police, and we got our police all on standby. Why would you need to activate the National Guard if you was going to charge that race soldier by the name of Rustin Shesky? Why would you do that? Every time they say we're going to announce this, announce that, and you see them boarding up businesses, you see the National Guard showing up, and they didn't even announce anything. Brothers and sisters, that's your answer. Remember, the action's going to speak louder than the words. So if they say we're going to make an announcement about a race soldier, and yet you see a bunch of riot cops show up, that's already the answer. Or either there's going to be no charges or there's going to be some BS charges that people are going to be upset about. Understand that. White supremacist predictability. They don't change. They do the exact same things. They've been doing this for years, ladies and gentlemen. 4 years. Making certain moves, and then you see it, right? Or white supremacist predictability would be this. Pay the family a settlement, a big settlement, but we're not going to lay no charges on the race soldier, or we'll give them a BS charge like wanton endangerment. Another thing that we have to look at, too, to look at white supremacist predictability is they have a policy, and you have to understand, the system works together. And the Mzungu-owned media is part of that system. No matter what one of them do, I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say. And you've seen this. You can look at any school shooter, any race soldier, any white supremacist that's out there that do something, whatever. When they show their picture in the media, notice it's always a picture of them smiling. Have you noticed that? Oh, they're smiling. Oh, they may show them with their family. Oh, you see nothing but smiling pictures of them. Now, this fool done killed about 20 people, but you see all these smiling, loving pictures of it. Now, you may ask, why do they do that? White supremacist predictability says this. We cannot demonize the image of the white supremacist male. We are the PR firm for the white supremacist male. The system, but definitely for the male. So we're going to insert these pictures into the mind of people. You understand media is also psychological as well. If you keep seeing pictures of this guy smiling constantly, right? The race soldier didn't kill black folks in cold blood, but you see his picture, he's smiling. They'll show his police picture, him smiling. They'll show him smiling with his family or by himself somewhere. He's smiling, always smiling. That's to put in your mind, in the potential juror's mind. They're going to try to definitely select from the Mzungu community because they don't want me and you to be the juror. To put in their mind, this guy couldn't do nothing like that. Or this guy must have just made a mistake that day. That's all they want to inject into the mind of the potential jury. Because see, the Mzungu-owned media goes into their job of making sure to taint the jury. Understand? So while they're sitting up there showing him smiling and all these loving pictures with his family and all of that, they'll turn around at the victim, okay? Start with Trayvon Martin. Let's go back to that. The victim show a video of him smoking some weed. Like, okay, but they understand that the majority of them in America that look at us, they show black people doing anything like that. Oh, he's automatically a thug. So he deserved it. You understand? This smiling guy over here, he couldn't have done something like that. He was a thug. This is why they bring up black folks. Any record they got on black people. It don't matter if you got a demerit in elementary school for talking out of line. Oh, see, he was a problem since he was in elementary school. See, he has speeding tickets. See, he don't follow the law. They look for anything to demonize the black person. They did the exact same thing actually to Jacob Blake. Look, he was charged with this alleged sexual crime. Alleged. Now, you do understand that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Just because you charged with something doesn't mean you actually did it. So we can't go on what he's charged with, right? But why did they do that? They do that to make sure to taint a potential jury if there's going to get one, and also harm his community support, because they understand that we have some shucking and jiving Sambos in our community that would take the word of, white mommy and white daddy and just go with it. Because they know some of us and how we are, unfortunately. Now, we're banging on those in our community, and we letting them know that that's not how it's going to go down. And life is going to be very uncomfortable for you. Very, very uncomfortable for you if you keep that up, at least around us. We're not going to have this policy. We're tolerating that in our black community. So they do all that. Like I say, it's all a game. Like I said, do not think that the major networks that you see out there is just news. No, they are propaganda wings of white supremacy. It could be white supremacy left. It could be white supremacy right. But they all work together in maintaining the system of white supremacy. Notice, none of these networks call for the punishment of race soldiers. They don't bang on that drum to get them punished. What do they say? Police reform. What do they say? Accountability. But they never say punishment. Notice the word police punishment is never in their mouth. I tell people this. You cannot reform a piece of poop. That's exactly what they're trying to do. How can you make that better? How could you give a piece of poop back to people and say it's better? No, at the end of the day, it don't matter. You put a bow on it. It don't matter. You try to spray perfume on the poop. At the end of the day, you putting perfume on poop. You putting cologne on poop. It's still poop. That's all it is. You can't reform a system that started in slavery. You can't reform that because that system is literally acting like it's still in slavery. The slave patrol. Why do you think more young black men are in prison? Because the origin of the slave patrol was to go and catch black people, male and female, and put them back on the plantation. They can kill them, beat them. They can do whatever else they want to do with them if they catch them. Still to this day, go out and catch black people. Plant evidence on them. Lock them up for nonviolent offenses. Because the majority of black people that's locked up are locked up on nonviolent offenses. Not every black person locked up in here on there was some mass murder or whatever. No. A lot of black folks are still locked up from the crack era. From back in the 80s, bro. Things that basically you would call hurting yourself type of thing. Or what they say now is an addiction, or it's a sickness now. When they got on opioids, it's a sickness. And also, even with that, they do not like to show themselves in vulnerable positions. They don't like to show themselves as the ones that's leading with a disease like COVID. They don't want to show them, being the drug addicts like they are on fentanyl and heroin. Their media is about protecting the image of them, even to their detriment, though. And like I said, I don't want us to turn our media into that, because that's a detriment to them, because they have this false sense of security because of their media, when actually they don't have a security to stand on, really. But that's them and their problems. What we want to say for us is pay attention to the predictability and how they move. When they're not filing charges, They start announcing all this beefed up police presence. So Rustin Shesky, he's not going to face charges in the shooting of Jacob Blake. In Kenosha County, District Attorney Michael Gravely had announced on Tuesday. Now, Shesky, he's the race soldier, 29-year. He shot Jacob Blake 7 times while responding to a domestic incident August 23rd, 2020. Now, he survived the shooting but left paralyzed from the waist down. Now, they say it is my decision now that no Kenosha law enforcement officer will be charged with any criminal offense based on the facts and laws. Now, the laws are whatever they say they are, right? Not what's on paper. They say the announcement comes as anger continues to mount across the country as the repeated deaths of black people at the hands of race soldiers. And they say the summer of 2020 saw protests, some of which turned violent, calling for police reform and at the end of the police brutality sparked by the death of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Now, Gravely announced that no charges for the other 2 officers involved in the incident. It said they were identified by the Wisconsin Justice Department in September as officers Vincent Arenas and Brittany Moronek. They say all race soldiers involved in Blake's shooting are still on administrative leave. In other words, they're on paid vacation at their house, right? So they said Jacob Blake himself would not face any charges as well. Why would he face charges? Y'all freaking paralyzed the brother. I said Shesky told investigators that he used deadly force during a chaotic encounter because he was afraid Blake was attempting to flee the scene while trying to kidnap a child in the backseat of a vehicle. It said that Blake had a knife in his possession and the weapon was found on the floorboard of the vehicle. But you shot him not even in the vehicle. So how is that he's a threat? See, the fact is you're black. That's the threat. And the fact is you turn your back to them. Like I said, I'm telling you, white supremacists are like dogs, the cowardly dogs. You know how a dog, if you face a dog and if you run, even if a dog's like trying to get at you, you run up on a dog with aggression and they'll get fearful and run away from you. A lot of dogs will. But the moment you turn your back to a dog and run away, now they coming to bite you or whatever. That's how they are. What's all these incidents of shooting black people in the back? They're constantly shooting black people in the back now, and black folks need to get outraged about this shooting black folks in the back crap. This is something they loving to do now. Okay? Now, they claim that he was actively resisting, or you say, and he armed himself with a knife. He did not have a knife. That's a freaking lie. It was in his car, remember? Now, he also says if Jacob Blake had a knife, listen to this. Now, you don't file no charges on Jacob Blake, but then you said he had a knife and they had to use deadly force. They thought he was going to kidnap a child. Well, where's the charges at then? See, these people, brothers and sisters, are so predictable. They don't even follow what they say. Well, wouldn't that be having some sort of threat against a police officer or something? What part of the game is that? He had a knife on him, the cops shot him, and he still had no charges on him with the cops. But this is with the anti-black propagandists in that divestment community. That's the zaddies for you. That's zaddy. How many black police officers are shooting the Mzungus in the back like this? Constantly shooting them in the back. You hardly ever hear black cops shooting people. Because you know why? They know it's going to be a punishment. That's why they don't shoot people like that. Now, they said attorneys for Jacob Blake's family disputed that Blake posed a threat. They said there was no point in the video to articulate an officer to say that it was under harm at any point. They say it's completely bogus. And I think it's just a rationalization to try to show that what is reasonably essentially an intentional act. It was intentional. He said it's not against the law to have a knife. He said people have knives for a variety of reasons. Jacob Blake is privy to having a knife. Let me tell you something. No, it's not against the law to have a knife. Some people may have a knife for work. Many people carry knives at work to open certain things. It could be used to protect yourself. You know, like they say, oh, he had a gun. That's why I shot him. We do have a Second Amendment right in this country. I mean, what law is on the book that say if you have a gun, I can just kill you? That's that law they put in the books definitely for black folks. They want black folks to have a gun anyway. Now, Jacob Blake's, of course, his attorney is Benjamin Crump, released a statement saying, "We feel this decision failed to not only Jacob and his family, but the community that protested and demanded justice." He said his race soldiers' actions sparked outrage and advocacy throughout the country, but the district attorney's decision not to charge the officer who shot Jacob in the back multiple times, leaving him paralyzed, further destroys trust in our justice system. This sends the wrong message to race soldiers throughout the country. Okay. Jacob Blake's father has said that he wanted people to stand up and make some noise. But this is the thing. We keep seeing this over and over and over and over and over. But yet, Kyle Rittenhouse. Let's talk about Kyle Rittenhouse again, brothers and sisters. Kyle Rittenhouse in the same Kenosha, Wisconsin, shot 2 people. He shot him. He killed him some. And the cops didn't shoot him in the back. And he had a freaking gun. He had a gun. And they did not shoot Kyle Rittenhouse. That's what it lets me know when I tell y'all. When it comes to these Mzungus, they're police officers. When it comes to black people, they're race soldiers. It's a difference. They're trained differently. They have a certain training to be race soldiers, and they have a training to be police officers. See, with them folks, they be police officers toward them. This is why they'll tell, Kyle, put down the gun, Kyle. Don't do it, Kyle. Even though he didn't shot somebody, they should have lit Kyle Rittenhouse up. They didn't do that. Kyle got to be taken in by the police officers who their job is to bring him, to put him in custody and put him in jail and let the justice system handle Kyle Rittenhouse. When it comes to black people, it's the race soldier. The race soldiers say, I can kill you on the spot. It ain't no jury execution. I am the jury. I am the executioner when it comes to black people. You don't get no due process. Me being a race soldier is due process enough. You understand? That's the difference. But once again, white supremacist predictability. We know this. When you say, I'm not surprised by that, that is your white supremacist predictability kicking in. That's all. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. You're there because they're so predictable by now. That's why. We understand. When I make videos, I'm constantly saying the word race soldier, which came from our brother Neely Fuller. I didn't make that up. But there's a proper way to describe them in relation to us as black people. Now, the proper response, you say, yeah, make noise. Okay, you making noise. But the proper response is what that brother did in Atlanta is to hit them in the pocketbook. Yes, you do a lawsuit, but I'm talking about the community need to break the city financially. How do you do that? I told you guys many times before, the way you break any city is you don't shop there. You don't spend money there. You go to the next city over. That's what you do. You say, we're going to do our shopping in the next city. We're going to get our gas in the next city. We're not going to get not a drop of gas in this city. We're not going to get any food here. We're not going to go to no restaurants. We're not going to go to, well, you shouldn't be going to no movies in this time period anyway right now, unless you rent out the theater, because I know you can do that now. At least here in Texas with Cinemark, we did that to go see a movie as a family over the Christmas holidays. We had a lot of family in, so we rented out the whole theater. So the whole theater was ours, and family could be together and it's kind of social distance too, and all of that. So it was awesome. So I would say rent out a theater if you can. I actually like that sort of thing, rent out a theater if that's possible, especially this time period during the corona. Matter of fact, that's the only way I'm going to go to a movie theater now unless we rent out the whole theater. If it's going to be a bunch of crowds, forget that. But yeah, that was fun to do that with family. But don't spend a dime in that city until those race soldiers are fired. Until those race soldiers are charged. Let me tell you something. When you breaking them financially, they're going to come up with charges. They're going to make up something. And you don't stop that boycott until they are in jail. Not, they was arrested. No. We still out here with this boycott. The boycott's still on. Then the Mzungu media gonna come up to you and like, so why you guys are boycotting? Because the officers was arrested. No, we're not gonna stop the boycott today in jail. That's when we gonna stop. And you break that city financially. But if you're not willing to break the city financially, it's gonna take some discipline, brothers and sisters. Like what our brothers and sisters did during the Montgomery bus boycott, that is the model for us. That's our power model. Is to break them financially. That's why they hated Martin Luther King, because Martin knew how to break them financially. But it's just we know how they move. We got to recognize it as such, as the white supremacist predictability that we see constantly out here, and we got to combat that. If they're announcing, oh, we're gonna have a press conference, and they got National Guard already out there and board. Listen, the fix is already in. So what's the point of waiting? Like holding your breath waiting? No, the fix is in. They wouldn't bring in the National Guard. They're going to charge them, because you're not going to get mad at that. You're not going to do anything about that, right? Always the predictability of the media, showing them smiling. Try to go and find their pictures of their mugshot. A lot of times they don't even release their mugshot, or they don't want to show them in handcuffs. That's what our job is. Our job is, and when I say our job, I mean all of our job. Let's find them in handcuffs. Let's find their mugshots. Because I know when I post it, I'm posting your mugshot. I'm not posting you smiling. You're a freaking savage. Why am I post that, like showing you smiling with your family, like, you just this great, upstanding, honorable person? Forget that. Brothers and sisters, we look at the tactics. We got to respond as such. And media is important, even on social media. It's very, very important to combat the tactics of white supremacy. But understand, they are very predictable. Their predictability is, like I said, they don't have no new tricks, folks. Using black people to speak for them. You know what I'm saying? They tricks are just so old already. You got to know the playbook now. And this is why we have to apply pressure to those black folks that's selling out. I say apply more pressure to them so we can get them out the way. Because they the one that's sabotaging us from within. But make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you, if you haven't, to this channel yet, if you're viewing, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click that like button if you're watching us on YouTube, and click the notification button. That way you'll know when we make a podcast. But as I stated, on our main channel on YouTube, we will always put a promo video so you could know when we're going to do the next podcast. And if those of you listen to us possibly on Anchor, Spotify, etc., support the show. We would definitely, and also on YouTube, you can support the show as becoming a YouTube channel member. Join our Patreon page. The link would be in the pinned comment. We're pushing community support for the month of January, just so we can support the show, and pay our people and things that we need to do for out the year. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.